The Russian KGB Book of Alien Races is an alleged record of extraterrestrial encounters from 1946 to the early 2000s. The following is based on and inspired by these events.
Throughout history, humanity has waged wars, built fortresses, and forged weapons to defend against its enemies. But not all threats come with armies or weapons. Some move unseen, slipping into our minds, bending reality to their will. While some visitors come in peace, others see us as pawns, prey, or worse. Governments and institutions deny their existence because secrecy is their greatest weapon. The less we believe, the stronger the invaders become. The first step to defending humanity is to believe. This series exposes those invaders who threaten our existence. The shapeshifters, Kiily-Tokurt. The idea that extraterrestrials walk among us is not new. Stories of hidden beings lurking in human form have existed for centuries, whispered in hushed tones and dismissed as paranoia. But what if these tales were true? What if there were creatures so skilled in deception that they could blend seamlessly into society, living among us unnoticed, except for the unsettling truth that their eyes never change? The Kiily-Tokurt, an alien race originating from the Vela constellation, are the masters of concealment. Unlike traditional shapeshifters of folklore, their transformations are not bound by mystical forces, but by an advanced biological adaptation that allows them to restructure their cellular composition. They can replicate the physical form of any human they encounter, down to the smallest detail, skin texture, vocal patterns, even scars. Yet, one feature remains disturbingly unchanged. Their eyes, cold, alien, unblinking. Their gaze betrays their otherwise perfect camouflage. First encounters. The earliest known documentation of the Kiily-Tokurt dates back to the 18th century, when a wave of disappearances plagued remote villages in Eastern Europe. The missing were always replaced, almost as if something else had taken their place. Families spoke in terrified whispers of relatives who came back wrong. They looked the same. They spoke the same. But they were not the same. One account from 1783 in what is now Romania tells of a young woman named Elena Petrescu who vanished while gathering firewood near the edge of the village. Her family searched for days, fearing she had been taken by wolves. But on the fifth night, Elena returned. At first, the villagers rejoiced, but as they observed her, they felt a creeping unease. Her speech was mechanical, her laughter hollow, her movements too fluid, like a puppet mimicking the behavior of a person. But the most disturbing thing was her eyes. She never blinked. Days later, her father woke in the middle of the night to find her standing by his bed, staring down at him with those dead, motionless eyes. No words, no breathing, just watching. The next morning, she was gone again, this time for good. Modern sightings and disappearances. Centuries have passed, but the Kiily-Tokurt have not disappeared. They've only perfected their deception. One of the most chilling reports comes from 2008 in New York City. Investigative journalist Daniel Harker had been researching a series of disappearances when he claimed to have met a man who felt off. The stranger, dressed in a gray suit, was polite but detached, his speech oddly measured. As the two conversed, Harker noticed something disturbing. The man never blinked. Unnerved, Harker ended the conversation and left. That night, he called a colleague, saying, "Something isn't right about him. I don't think he's human." The next day, Harker vanished. His apartment was untouched, no signs of struggle, no forced entry. The only thing missing was him. Security footage from outside his building shows him walking home that night. Exactly 1 minute after he enters the front door, the same man in the gray suit walks out. But his movements are stiff, unnatural, as if he's getting used to a new body. Harker was never seen again. abductions and psychological manipulations. Unlike the traditional alien abductions involving spacecraft and surgical experiments, the Kiily-Tokurt operate in far more insidious ways. Victims rarely recall their encounters. They go to bed as usual and wake up days later with no memory of where they've been. Some experience strange gaps in their memory, while others feel an unshakable sense of paranoia as if they are being watched. One case from 2013 in London involved a man named Elliot Grayson who went missing for 3 days. When he reappeared, he insisted he had never left, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. His phone had been turned off, his bank account untouched, yet security footage from a pub he frequented showed him sitting at the bar during those 3 days, staring blankly, never speaking, never blinking. When his friends confronted him about his absence, he became erratic, defensive, almost confused, as if he wasn't sure who he was anymore. A week later, he disappeared again, this time for good. Under hypnosis, abductees have recalled disturbing visions. Dark rooms filled with shadows that whisper in an unknown language. Figures watching from the corners of the room, faces shifting in and out of focus. A crushing feeling of dread, as if something was reaching into their mind. Experts speculate that the Kiily-Tokurt's objective is not physical experimentation, but psychological control. They do not abduct humans in the traditional sense. Instead, they replace them. How many Kiily-Tokurt exist among us? Are they scattered, hiding in the shadows? Or have they infiltrated positions of power, steering human civilization without us even realizing it? In 1979, in Soviet Russia, an alleged KGB document surfaced detailing an agent's encounter with a high-ranking government official who exhibited strange behavior. The agent noted that the man never blinked, and when confronted, the official smiled eerily and asked, "Do you think you are speaking to the real me?" Within 24 hours, the agent was found dead in his apartment. Cause of death: suicide. His colleagues did not believe it. Some researchers believe that the Kiily-Tokurt have influenced major historical events, guiding human affairs without detection. If true, what is their ultimate goal? Are they still among us? If the Kiily-Tokurt are real, the implications are horrifying. How many of them are there? How many people we trust, politicians, celebrities, even our closest friends, are not human? If they are watching, what are they waiting for? For now, the only defense is awareness. Pay attention. The next time you meet a stranger whose presence makes your skin crawl, watch their eyes. If they never blink, if they hold their stare too long, do not trust them. Because they might be one of the Kiily-Tokurt. And if they are, it's already too late.